Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my podcast, Masculinity Uncovered. I'm your host, Jonathan. Today's topic is more rage than anything. If you've been online for the past 5 years, one thing that I've noticed is this constant either attack from the women's side about men are this, men behave like this, so men ought to do better. And on the male side, it's always about, what do you expect? You blame us for everything, but you still expect us to perform everything. And I think there is a case to be said about both of their perspectives. But one thing that people don't consider, right, is that each section of this discussion has to take accountability, right? Let's take, for example, the men. Let us say it's all our fault. And we take accountability or we don't. And we let society crush and crumble, right? If men suddenly decide to let it all go, will we have a functioning society? The answer is absolutely not. There is some motivation, in a way, to make sure that society grows, continues, passes on legacy, right? But on the flip side, the other side of this equation is women. One of the biggest things that I hear all the time, especially those who are feminists or covert feminists, or simply those who believe in the Western idea of freedom, right? Freedom above everything. Basically, what they say is we are oppressed because of men. We cannot do such thing because of men, because of the indoctrination that we've suffered forever. And only suddenly we got the rights. We haven't been accustomed to certain things. We can't do this because men don't allow us to, right? And then usually it's on the lines of men have to take accountability. Men have to step up. Men have to do better. But my biggest question, and I'm trying to put this from the perspective of understanding, right? Before I criticize, my biggest question is, what about you as a woman? Where is your accountability? What are you doing personally to make the world a better place? I'm not talking about how you feel, right? I'm not talking about what you perceive. I'm talking about what you are personally doing in terms of actions to make things better. Let's put it into perspective. Man works hard, provides for family. Hopefully, wife is a stay-at-home, takes care of the kids, takes care of the family, takes care of her husband, right? The wife, in retrospect, is contributing to society by taking care of the children, right? Providing for the family in a sense of warmth, comfort, emotional support, if you have to put it there, and just companionship. And she is the first line of defense in case someone harms children, right? In most cases, if that's the case, of course. She's doing an active role in helping take responsibility that is not her, right? And on the man's side, of course, as I just said, they are providing for the family. They are the last line of defense. Sometimes the first, but the last line of defense, right? In case of danger. They take care of the wife, console her with stresses of daily life, but mainly provision, protection, responsibility, as the hopeful leader in Christ of the family. So both of these parts play a role in making something that is not selfish. It's about sacrifice. It's about duty. These men, and let me be very clear, I'm not going to talk about any other religion because this specific concept has to be dealt from the prism of Christianity. Other religions can do the same. I'm not saying otherwise, but for the sake of this argument, Christianity is the name of the game. So men basically are living a life of purpose, duty, responsibility, of sacrifice for the sake of making sure that their family, wife and kids, are in a better place than they are currently right now. The wife, in turn, as we just said, is the one sacrificing her own personal freedom for the sake of the family. Duties, responsibilities, sacrifice. It is nothing about the self. But now we translate this to the modern ideology. And this can be anybody, do not get me wrong. The modern ideology of family, of duties and responsibilities, stems from the idea of personal satisfaction. It's I don't know how you say it, vapious. It's no idea of responsibility. It's no idea that it's not about my happiness, but it's about my family's happiness. It's about the responsibility I must sacrifice in order to make sure that they are better. The heartbreaking part about this is that while society continues to grow in the idea of freedom, we are sacrificing the idea of freedom for the sake of responsibility. Most people, when they get absolute freedom, they feel that they can do anything, they can achieve anything, but they forget what their real responsibilities are. I mean, if you have too much freedom, there's no duty, is there not? If you can just do whatever you want, where's the duty? Because the free person, hypothetically speaking, doesn't have a duty for anything. So we live in a society that duties and responsibilities are now wannabe ideologies, right? It's not that important because we don't care about anybody except ourselves. How does this tie into modern ideology? Well, unfortunately, men are still expected to be completely in tune with their duties and responsibilities of provisioning, protecting, providing, taking care of the family, selfless sacrifice. But the women are not. Because when you tell women of today, hey, what are your duties towards, let's just say, society, right? What is your highest calling? Most people will say she can do whatever she wants. She doesn't depend on nobody. She doesn't have responsibilities for nobody. And you know what? In this society, makes perfect sense for them. But the topic at hand really is why? Why is it that we, in a society of hopefully functioning mindsets, have no moral guideline to indicate, hey, this is a duty that must be done. Let's do our best. Let's achieve our best. Let's try our best. The duty and responsibility of both men and women, if under the guise, the purview of Christianity in Christ, is to have a responsible father and mother, husband and wife, who take care of their children. It is a mutual sacrifice. That's, if you want equality, that's your best case of equality. There's roles and responsibilities genetically for a reason. Women can have babies. Men take care of the babies in case of danger. It's a role, it's a responsibility, but I think most fathers also consider it an honor that they're able to take care of their children in the best way that they can. Now, roles that, the whole role play, role chore thing is a different story. But for the sake of this argument, we need to peel back layers and go back to basics, right? What is the meaning of roles and responsibilities for family? And how does that translate into society, right? Well, you tell me. We want to make a society that has no moral code? Do we want to believe in a society that has no guidance? Because if you think that it is much better to have no moral code, I genuinely will say, good for you. Have fun. Enjoy your life. In fact, sometimes when I fight with people online and saying something along these lines about responsibility and duties, right? They're like, oh, I do whatever I want, or I'm doing this and I live the way I want. I'm like, you know what? Wish you the best. I genuinely do. I hope you have a great life. Basically ends the conversation because there's nothing really to talk about. But for the few people of you who are wise enough to think about the future, you have to forget the idea behind me. It's all about me. It's what I want. And unfortunately, I'm specifically talking about women. A lot of you, unfortunately, have become selfish. And let me point this out clearly. It's not that the act of selfishness is bad. It's that your selfishness is your God. You think being selfish all the time for your happiness, for your sake, is going to lead you to all kinds of things. It may win you some things, but you're going to lose a lot of other things. Because inherently, having and taking care of children is selfless. Inherently, because you're sacrificing. Sacrificing, first of all, your beauty and your youth. No questions about that. But you're also making sure that that child is as healthy as possible, is disciplined as possible, is, vigorous as possible in the way that children are. That's selfless characteristics. And when I think about what we are doing to people today, it's not that we are doing it, but culture is changing that way. Where a lot of women think genuinely that they don't need a man, that women don't have to have kids. Or, I hear this often a lot, women should go to college first and then have kids, because what if the man leaves you? And then I wondered a question. Why are you with the man in the first place if you don't trust the man to take care of you, to lead you, to make sure that you are safe and protected? You're telling me that every man out there in every relationship is out there to hurt you. That's what you're telling me. I mean, if they're worried about money and that the husband passes away, there's a simple solution. I'm going to tell you that right now. Life insurance. You get life insurance of $2 million for 20 years. It's not even that expensive. It's one of the few insurances that are still not expensive, but that might change. $2 million policy for 20 years. You're paying maybe $100 a month. I might be wrong, but pretty sure it is. Let's say you're working a laborious job that takes a crap ton on your body and you have a messed up accident. You cannot take care of yourself, or yet you pass away. You got $2 million that your husband already has coordinated that be invested in, then from those investments, and it's tax free, by the way. Those investments now are paying you monthly dividends or yearly dividends so that you can survive for the end of times. Now you solve that issue. That what if the husband passes away? It's like, it's a fair point. What if the husband passes away? Will you do what every family should do? You be the responsible parent and take care of your kids. You now have that $2 million in your bank. Use responsibly. Now, for the cases that of women who say, well, what if he abuses me and doesn't want to take care of me in certain ways, or he forbids me and then he divorces me for a younger person? I understand. Shit does happen. I don't disagree with that. But what is your relationship when you met him? Is it under the Christian purview of until death do you part, in sickness and in health? I mean, if there are no vows, I would be scared too. The vows are the sacred affirmation that you are committing to this for the end of times. No questions asked. But the problem, unfortunately, that I have seen over and over again is the lack of duties. The lack of duties are the biggest problem as to why relationships are messed up today. If you refuse to do your duties, and I already described, so I don't have to, but you refuse to do those duties, how can you expect the other party to do their duties? Can you expect them to stay with you if you refuse to follow your duties? Something to consider. So, kind of what I'm trying to say with all of this is, if men are blaming women for certain things, which may be true, maybe not true, and women are doing the exact same thing, where is each person's responsibility in their own life? Where's your accountability? I think there's plenty of men who are shit out there, no questions about that. But the people who complain about this all the time are women. Women constantly complain about how shit men are. But the reality is, if the men you have been with are shit, why don't you have a better judge of character? Why are you blaming men for something that could be avoided, hypothetically speaking? Let's say you decide to date the man. Hey, we're going to get to know each other for a year. No sex involved, nothing. I'm a virgin, That conversation should be very simple. I understand, past may be a problem, but I really want to do this to the best of my abilities. I want to get to know you. Perfectly fine. You can get to know a person quite a lot in about 3 to 4 months. Can they fake it? Sure. But at least you can get a gut sensation that something is wrong, something is good. I believe in Christ, so I will say this. Christ reveals everything. But to conclude this, let me say this. Men and women, you cannot judge the other sex without you taking first responsibility. And women, let me be very clear with you. You cannot say everything is men's fault if you personally are not taking responsibility. So if you're worried that an electrician is making too much money, but you aren't, then you should go be an electrician. That's what I'm saying. If your men are shit, then what exactly are you looking for men? What exactly do you want from men? Not shit? What does that mean, right? Look for characteristics in each other that indicate this would be a fantastic person to deal life with. But again, there has to be a vow. Marriage license is a piece of paper. It means nothing. The vow is an absolute commitment to future. Take it from me, ladies and gentlemen. I genuinely hope that today's episode has tangled your nuggets of wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Do your absolute best to look deep within you and find a purpose in your life. Thank you sincerely for everything. Have a great night. May Christ bless you all. Have a good one.